Most people don't fail because they lack ideas. They don't fail because they lack knowledge. They fail at a much earlier stage. They stop themselves, not publicly, not visibly, but internally. They hesitate, they overthink, they wait. They tell themselves, maybe later, maybe I'm not ready, maybe this won't work. And slowly, without realizing it, they choose comfort over possibility. Because doing something different is uncomfortable. It feels uncertain. It feels risky. And sometimes it feels lonely. But here is the truth most people avoid. Every meaningful life requires one thing: the courage to be different. Human beings are wired to belong, to fit in, to be accepted. For most of history, being part of the group meant survival. So, naturally, we avoid standing out. We avoid doing things that might get judged. We avoid taking parts that others don't understand. Because somewhere deep inside, we associate difference with risk. But in today's world, that instinct works against us, because the same behavior that keeps you safe also keeps you average, and average rarely leads to freedom. One of the biggest reasons people don't act is fear of what others will think. What if they judge me? What if I fail publicly? What if I look inexperienced? So, instead of starting, they stay silent. They don't pause. They don't build. They don't try. But here is something important to understand. Most people are too busy thinking about their own lives to spend much time judging yours. And even when they do, their opinion does not define your potential. The cost of being judged is temporary, but the cost of not trying can last a lifetime. Every decision comes with a threat of comfort. Gives you predictability, but it takes away growth. Discomfort challenges you, but it creates expansion. You cannot have both at the same level. If you choose comfort consistently, your life stays within familiar boundaries. If you choose growth consistently, your life starts expanding beyond them. And this is where most people get stuck. They want a different life, but they are not willing to feel different in the process. Courage is often misunderstood. People think it's something dramatic, a big decision, a huge leap. But most of the time, courage looks small. Posting your first idea, starting your first project, speaking when you are not fully confident, trying something new, without knowing the outcome. These small actions matter because every time you act despite fear, you trained your mind. You build confidence, and slowly, what once felt uncomfortable starts feeling normal. Entrepreneurship requires difference. You are building something that doesn't exist yet. You are taking a path that most people don't take. And because of that, you will face uncertainty. You will face doubt. You will face moments where things don't work. But that's part of the process. Every builder experiences it. The difference is they continue anyway. They don't wait for perfect confidence. They build it through action. At some point, you have to trust yourself, your ideas, your perspective, your vision, not blindly, but enough to act. Because if every decision depends on external validation, you will always hesitate. But when you start trusting your own thinking, something changes. You move faster. You act more confidently. You take ownership of your path, and that's where real growth begins. When you choose to be different, you can't rely on society's standards anymore because you are no longer following their path. So, you have to create your own definition of success, your own pace, your own direction. That is not easy, but it is powerful. Because once your standards come from within, external pressure loses its control. There is a phase in every journey where you feel alone. You are thinking differently, acting differently, moving differently. And the people around you may not understand it. This phase is normal. It doesn't mean you are wrong. It means you are early. Because every new path feels unfamiliar at the beginning. But over time, you start attracting people who think like you, who build like you, who understand your vision. And what once felt lonely becomes alignment. There is a moment when you stop waiting, when you stop overthinking, when you stop asking for permission, and you simply act. That moment doesn't come with perfect confidence. It comes with a decision. A decision to improve forward despite uncertainty. And once you cross that point, everything changes. Because you are no longer thinking about building. You are building. Being different is not easy, but neither is living a life that doesn't feel aligned. So, the question is not, is this path comfortable? The question is this path worth it? Because Every meaningful outcome requires a level of courage, not once, but repeatedly. So don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until everything is clear. Start where you are. Act with what you have and build from there. Because in the end, the people who create something meaningful are not the ones who felt the most confident. They are the ones who acted despite fear. If this episode made you think about the decisions you have been delaying, share it with someone who might need that push, because sometimes the difference between staying stuck and moving forward is one decision. And remember, you don't become different by thinking differently. You become different by acting differently. I'll see you in the next episode.